or excuse me, we'll go into the JSA. The JSA is kind of a centralized area where you can have all of your information stored. If you just do view all JSAs, it shows you all the JSAs that are currently in the system. You can go in, again, just like the other tools, you can view, you can print, you can look at the revision history, you can edit. So again, only people that can edit are the people that have administrative rights. Joe was kind enough to send me a JSA that was one of your guys' actual JSAs, so we're just going to go in to add a JSA. So there's metadata that you have to put in associated with the JSA. You end up having to put a certain number. If it is a required field, it'll show you that field with an asterisk next to it, where you can't save something until it's been put in. If it's not a required field, it will just be optional, and you can come back and edit it anytime you'd like after you've created a JSA file or a JSA procedure. So on the desktop, there's a PDF that he sent, so you need to send
okay.
PDF, and we'll just load it up.
Okay.
So he's selecting that this is going to be a PDF versus a step-by-step generated JSA. It's called Grinder, I think.
Grinder, okay. Grinder.
So you just go browse that Grinder in, you load it up. You can also reference, if that Grinder has procedures that need to be referenced, you can reference those procedures and policies at this point. If they're going to use a chemical when they're doing the work on it, you can reference the MSDSs at this point. If they're going to have to lock devices out, you could reference a lockout tagout procedure that already exists in the system at this point. You can assign. So you can. It's very simple integration between the various modules as far as how you tie things together, and you don't have to do this. This is just a feature that exists that allows you to make it more comprehensive. So go ahead and save that.
Okay. It's saved.
Again, you've got the question mark, which is the help file up there, the context-sensitive help on the right. You've got the permissions where you can set individual permissions for this tool. The reporting tool just lets you filter and see any of the, by any means you want. You can filter it by employee, you can filter it by the name of the JSA, you can filter it by when people are due. This system allows you to connect employees to a given JSA. So this is a JSA we just created, right?
Yeah.
So that JSA that Kelly just popped up on the screen was the one that we just created. So you can see, if you already have them, you can have your JSAs in just a matter of a few minutes. If you had to build them step by step, it's still the same. You can build them step by step in just a few minutes. So it's pretty simple. Did you want to pull it up? Open it?
Not sure. Is it a PDF?
Yeah.
Okay.
So there's the JSA that we got from Joe this morning. You saw it just took a minute or two to load that up and reference that if you already have them existing. If you don't, you could go in and create this step by step in the tool. It will allow you to maybe just go into edit one that's existing database.
Okay.
It allows you to quickly go in and edit, reference other materials. You can add hazards at this point. You can add PPE at this point, and you can add steps. And those are all controlled in a database where you can later go in and select those very quickly and very easily. That way, if somebody calls something a electrical set of gloves or anything that's specific, everybody else will be able to use the same semantics and the same language without having to recreate it. That's the beauty of having a database like this. Go ahead and go on to. Does anybody have any questions on those first three modules? I'm trying to go kind of fast, but I don't want to leave people out if you got any questions. Okay.
Yeah, I think you're doing good, Kevin. Keep going.
Alrighty. On the policies and procedures, this is really just a centralized location where you can put whatever the information is that you need. You can create up to 5 levels folders. They appear as tabs at the top of your screen. Again, when people get in to look at this, the only reason this kind of looks cluttered a little bit is because we're administrators. So we can delete tabs or we can edit tabs if we want to change the name on them. If you go into the safety tab, you'll see that there's a lot of data in there. There's additional tabs down below it. And there's also, let's see, are you in safety?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. There's an emergency response plan in there. Go ahead and go down to that.
Emergency response plan, okay.
Just open that so they can see it. So you can store any kind of files in here. They can be Word files, they can be PowerPoints, they can be Excel files. And what the system does is it tracks and allows you to set up audits associated with those plans. So if you put in your Sharp plan and had a tab for your Sharp plan, you could say that needed to be audited monthly. You could say it needed to be audited every year. You can set that up on any kind of frequency you'd like for auditing. You can assign an employee to it, and that employee will receive an email when that audit is due. So you can distribute your workload across a number of employees versus always having to try to remember who's supposed to do it, how to schedule it in Outlook, all that kind of stuff. The system allows you to automatically do that through the database. Adding a file is very simple. If we're in here and we just want to add, say we want to add that JSA, that same JSA that Joe had sent to us, we just put in a name for it of Grinder, and then we could just quickly browse it in. It's right there on the desktop again. It could be on a thumb drive or on a network drive or any type of device. You can choose that you want to audit it. Who's the employee going to be? We'll just quickly pick an employee for it. The system's smart, so if you start typing things, it'll automatically go find those people if you just remember their name. We're going to set it up for when we want the next audit with the calendar tool, and we're done. We submit it, and now we have that JSA referenced in there in just less than a minute. So it's very easy, very quick to put all of your data. I think Mike Hill was telling me that their intern, she loaded their entire employee handbook with all the various modules and all the various references to safety information in less than a day, and it had something like 27 different policies and procedures, and she loaded the whole thing in less than a day. They were expecting it to take some time, and it went very quickly. Go ahead and move on.